We get real nervous about our kids getting nervous and helping them through that. So talking about anxiety, could you share some tips with us on how we kind of navigate that?
Yeah, like you said, this time of year can be very anxiety provoking for a lot of kids and parents. It's a transition back to school, right? Lots of changes. Maybe kids are going to a new school with new teachers and new friends. And so I think it's important, number one, to normalize that anxiety is being experienced by lots of kids right now, right? And so helping your children understand that this is normal, it's okay to feel anxious. And that anxiety is gonna, maybe last for the first week or so.
Sure.
I think after that, if the anxiety continues, right, and parents are seeing more signs of anxiety, for example, through avoidance or behavioral issues, or sometimes anxiety shows up in like somatic complaints, so stomach aches, headaches, things like that. I think that's when it's time to maybe look for professional help.
Okay. So after those first couple of weeks to settle in, I think that's so smart of you to say that kids now, I feel like, are recognizing the anxiety, but then maybe think, oh, something's wrong with me.
Right.
And it's like, some of that's normal.
Exactly.
Some of that's just being a human. And of course, we're all a little nervous for new things.
Yeah, and anxiety is a normal part of our life. I think it's when it's above and beyond kind of that normal anxiety, that's when it's important to seek professional help. Yeah.
Okay. So thinking about mental health, how can we kind of help them with that new year? Is there anything that we can do?
Definitely. I think for kids, anywhere on the anxiety spectrum, whether they're a little bit anxious or a lot anxious, I think helping them get back into the routine of a school day. So maybe even starting now before school starts, having them go to bed earlier, get up, when school time is going to start, so they can start prepping for that, like into that new routine. I think also just maybe doing some test runs, going by the school, practice dropping off, practice going into the school.
Oh, what a great idea.
Yeah, even if the school's open, you could even, go around and practice getting to class. And
that's a great idea.
I've even, suggested to parents, like even just going to the school playground and playing on the playground just to be around the school so that it can lessen some of that anxiety.
Yeah, so even if that's all they've seen of the school, it's like, okay, recess, this is familiar. I've seen that before. Those are great ideas. It's just, I think too, we've talked about communication being so important between kids and adults. And as my kids are big now, but as they get into middle school and high school, I think a lot of us as parents just get nervous about we're going to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And do you have any tips for us there?
Yeah, I think it's important to validate your child's feelings or teenagers' feelings. So if they are expressing anxiety or you're seeing anxiety come up in them, I think it's important to label that and validate and say, hey, I can see that you're nervous about this. I can see that this is scary for you, or I can imagine that going back to school is bringing up some stress. And sometimes just validating their feelings can be enough to help them feel better. Cool. And then I think, communicating with teachers and other people at the school, whether it's counselors, social workers, and just making those connections as well can be helpful.
Yeah, that communication piece, I think it would be fun to talk to school counselors, and you probably have that communication of how can we as parents, help set you up for success with our child too.
Exactly.
And that communication sounds like is really, really a key part. So if we're maybe it's 2 months from now and we've got some tummy issues, some signs that maybe we should get it checked out, what would be our first steps?
Yeah, so at Prairie Care, we offer free needs assessments. So we offer free evaluations for children, teenagers, and adults. We have programs for adults as well. And so we can do a free screening and then make recommendations, if it's therapy, medication. Our niche in the community is a partial hospitalization program. So it's a day treatment program for kids who maybe are really experiencing a lot of anxiety and just are not functioning well in school and need some treatment to get back on track, and then we help them transition back to school. Oh,
that's wonderful. I didn't even know that is part of what you guys did. And when you get to those crisis kind of times, we had a time like that with my children, and it's like you don't know what to do, and you kind of panic a little bit of what to do. And I think that is part of the reason we want to have you on, is to connect people in front of those times, and so that if we get to those moments, then we know, oh yeah, Prairie Care, they can help me with that.
Yeah, we're all about prevention, and addressing the issues before they become worse and before you're in a crisis situation.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. Yes. Hope that helps some of you headed on into school, and for your kiddos, give you a little peace of mind on what to